Less than 2 weeks ago, our nation was shocked when a 44-year-old British national interrupted Sabbath services being streamed at a congregation, Beth Israel, in Colleyville, Texas. The previously flagged British national held 4 hostages, including the congregation's rabbi, for nearly 11 hours. Now, this was an ugly reminder that anti-Semitism is still alive and well in this day and age. In fact, in the last 4 years, there have been 8 similar incidents take place in America. Now, in my role at the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, we've been tracking this around the world in the wake of COVID, because that's been used against Jews to raise this level of anti-Semitism. But here's something that history also tells us, that anti-Semitism is a harbinger. It's the canary in the coal mine, because it does not stop with the Jewish people. It moves on. Susan Michaels, director of the International Christian Embassy, Jerusalem in the United States, and she joins me now to share how we can support our Jewish friends. Susan, welcome to Washington Watch.
Hey, Tony, it's great to be with you again today.
So tell me, Susan, what is driving this recent rash of anti-Semitism that we're seeing around the world?
Well, anti-Semitism is, as you say, growing around the world, and the numbers are just astounding. And, you can find it in pockets, east, west, right, left. You can find it on college campuses. You can find it in different places. But I think the one thing that is feeding it and is uniting all of this is social media or the internet. Now, all of our fringe hate groups have been able to find each other, share information, grow, and influence more and more people on the internet. So our young people are bombarded with anti-Semitic messaging because they spend so much time on the internet. And I think this is the one source that if we could cut that out, we would have really cut back on anti-Semitism.
But going to the heart of it, and I just have a tendency to do that, even though sometimes it's controversial. I mean, this is spiritual. I mean, we got to see it. The Jewish people have been the target of spiritual forces of darkness from almost the very, very beginning. And we have to recognize, we've got to recognize this.
But this is spiritual. Sorry, Tony, but you're just so right.
But this is where Christians come in. This is where we come in, because we understand the spiritual realm. We understand, as the scripture says, that we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. I mean, obviously, we got to have laws. We got to do things to defend against Nazism and other manifestations of this anti-Semitism. But Christians should be able to discern and understand what's going on, because we understand the work of the forces of darkness.
Yes, when you look at the history of anti-Semitism, it has gone on for thousands of years, and it's like an evil virus. The minute you think that you've stamped it out, it just reinvents itself, and it comes back with a different face and a little bit of a different language. But at the end of the day, it's still an expression of that same ancient hatred of the Jewish people. And there is no explanation for this other than a spiritual one or a biblical one. And I think Psalm 83 describes it perfectly. It says, "Oh God, those who hate you have declared, let us wipe them off as a nation, that the name of Israel be mentioned no more." And that shows they're caught in the middle of a spiritual warfare against God himself, his choice of people, his plan to redeem the world, and they're caught in the middle of it. And we as Christians should understand that. And we as Christians are the ones that have the moral and the political strength to stand against it. And we really must. I feel a very heavy burden. Christians must stand up against this evil. We are the ones called to do it.
And the scripture makes very clear, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and we have a role in that. Now, this caveat, because I get criticism every time I say that, that doesn't mean that we give a blanket statement of approval for everything the nation of Israel does or the Jewish people do. I mean, we, as we would with any friends, we speak truth to them. But our default position is to stand with them. And if that's not enough motivation for Christians, because we're commanded to do such, and quite frankly, I think one of the reasons America continues to sputter forward on the fumes of our forefathers is because of that blessing that has come from standing with Israel. But if you just think this growing anti-Semitism is going to stop with the Jewish people, you're mistaken. I mean, you go back to the Holocaust. Martin Niemöller, I remember his famous quote that he said. He said, first they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I didn't speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me.
Yes, and in the end, not only 6 million Jews died, but a total of 50 million people died at World War II. So you're right. We're all at danger, and we need to see them as an early warning system when a sickness is in society. And I'm so sorry to say, but we even have it in America, and I'm very concerned about it.
So, final question for you, Susan. How can Christians in particular show support for our Jewish friends and neighbors?
Well, first, educate yourself, and so that you can recognize anti-Semitism, and you have the ability then to speak out against it and stand up. And we have developed a resource for Christians at icejusa.org/anti-Semitism. And it's a free little booklet to educate Christians on the problem of anti-Semitism and to help prepare them to speak up against it.
All right, Susan, Michael, always great to talk with you. You're doing great work. Keep it up. We're praying for you, and happy to come alongside and support the work you're doing.
Thank you, Tony. We've appreciated your support for many years. Thank you.